What's up, tribe? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 of the most beautiful, luxurious house sits we've done all around the world. From cottages on the beach in the Caribbean to houses in the jungle in Costa Rica, these are just some of the amazing spots that we've been able to stay for free thanks to house sitting. Stay tuned because at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can get these exact same types of house sits and save yourself thousands of dollars on accommodation for your next big trip or weekend away. All right, so let's get into it. Bah! Okay, so if you're too eager to find out how we've stayed in these luxury places for free and even been paid to stay at them in some cases, I left a link in the description below this video that includes our free house sitting roadmap that shows you how to get your first luxury house sit in just a few days, as well as a 20% discount off the house sitting website that we use to get all these sits. It's totally free, so check the links to download that. For those of you who are interested in just how luxurious these places are, stay tuned until the end of this video because I promise you they just get better and better. Number 1 on this list is a beautiful house in Barbados. This was the 3rd house sit that we ever landed from our favorite house sitting website. Links in the description down below to that website if you're interested. The owner of this lovely home in paradise had 2 big golden retrievers named Honey and Jesus, and she actually contacted us when she saw our profile on the site. We had a quick interview with her on Skype, which is a pretty standard part of the procedure before getting hired for any house sit, and within a couple of months we were in Barbados with Jesus and Honey, where we'd be living for 6 weeks over Christmas and New Year's. The owner left us with her car for the entire trip, and we spent our days driving around the island, laying on beautiful white sand beaches, working in local cafes, and walking Jesus and Honey through fields of sugarcane. It was a blast. Number 2 is a jungle house in Costa Rica. This was a really serendipitous one actually. We had just started house sitting about a year prior to this, and our good friends actually knew we were house sitting because we were posting all about it on our social media. They reached out to us privately and asked if we'd watch their beautiful jungle house and their little puppy Jack while they were away on vacation for a couple of weeks. They were already on the same house sitting website that we always use, so we had them hire us through the platform so that we could get a good review from them, and then within a couple of weeks we were in Costa Rica hanging out with Jack and watching their house. They lived right in the jungle, so aside from one tarantula that we saw on the day that we checked in, we spent the entire time enjoying the nature surrounded by the wildlife that we loved. Our morning coffees were spent spotting toucans and monkeys in the treetops just off the back patio, and we walked Jack twice a day to a beautiful waterfall that was just a few kilometers from their property. They also left us with a motorbike while we were there. Actually, every single house sit that we've ever done has given us a car to use for free while we were sitting, and this was the first one who only gave us a motorbike. But it was actually a lot of fun ripping around on the bike and exploring the nearby beaches and surfing villages up and down the west coast of Costa Rica. It was extra fun when we took Jack with us because while he may have been a puppy when we first accepted the job, he grew extremely quickly, and by the time we got there, he had far outgrown the motorbike, especially with the 3 of us on it, with groceries trying to fit on that little bike. All right, number 3 are these stunning beach huts in Grenada. This was actually our first house sit that we ever did, and it's still one of our favorite places in the world. We had just created our profile, uploaded some photos, and had some character references from our friends and family on our account, and within a couple of weeks, a lovely woman and her husband, who are still our very close friends to this day, invited us to come and take care of their beloved dog, Spare. Sometimes in life, you have these moments where you just have to pinch yourself and ask if what's happening is actually real. And this is how we felt when we checked into this gorgeous little beach bungalow in the Caribbean. First of all, the owners were the loveliest people you could meet, but what made this sit even more amazing is that there wasn't even a house to sit, just the coolest little dog in the world. The sit was on a luxury rustic beach resort that sat on a perfectly manicured property right on the beach. Each of these little bungalows were once rented out for over £250 a night, and this was about 7 years ago at the time of recording this video, so today they'd likely be over $600 in today's conversions. The owners had since shut the place down to public, so aside from a few in-the-know guests who came and went for a week or so while we were there, we had the entire place to ourselves. Because it was once a resort, we still had a weekly cleaning from the housekeeper who lived on the property, there was security there, and a landscaper who became a friend of ours and who kept the place tidy while the owners were away. These are some of the chores that would typically be left to house sitters during the house sit, but on this one they were all taken care of from the staff on site. All we had to do was look after Spare Dog for a full 6 months. That's right, the owners were gone for at least 6 months every year. They left us with not just 1 but 2 cars to use for the entire time, and they introduced us to a lot of their friends around the island, which meant we instantly felt like locals. Because this was our first pet sit ever, we just couldn't believe how lucky we were. But what honestly made this sit one of the best experiences in our lives is that it introduced us to Spare Dog. Spare Dog showed us around the island for this sit and for the next 7 years that we kept returning to Grenada until the little guy passed away in 2019. This video is dedicated to him. While I might be talking a lot in this video about how wonderful the accommodations have been, the best part of house sitting is when you get to have a pet. And as far as pets go, Spare Dog was one of the most special little guys that we could have asked for. Rest in peace, little buddy. All right, number 4 is a huge house on a cliff in Grenada. Remember when I said that Spare Dog's owners introduced us to their friends all around the island? Well, this sit was thanks to them as we met the owner through friends of their friends. This house was perched on a cliff overlooking the Caribbean Sea, and it was so beautiful that we actually had a hard time leaving. We would spend our mornings having coffee and watching the sun come up behind us, and in the evenings we'd make a cocktail and watch the sun as it dipped right into the Caribbean Sea in front of the house. The pooches were Pumpkin and Macy, and our tasks were just to walk them once a day, keep them fed, and give them lots of love. Like with all of our sits, we became close with the owner, and she introduced us to some of her friends around the island as well. She also paid us pretty well for this pet sit. It was something that we weren't expecting at all, so when she handed us a big envelope full of cash after we had stayed in her house for the last 3 months, we were blown away. Number 5, the last one on this list of amazing accommodations we've had while house sitting around the world, is this luxury villa with an infinity pool in Grenada. You'll notice that all 3 of these last sits are in Grenada. For one, we fell in love with the island and we didn't want to leave, but also something happened to us that I feel happens to pretty much every house sitter eventually. Once you get one house sit in a place that you love, the owner of that first place will ask you to return year after year. On top of that, they introduce you to all their friends who also want house sitters, and then you meet other people who are also looking for sitters nearby. Whether you're on a tropical Caribbean island or a cool city 30 minutes from your hometown, there always seems to be an endless stream of house sits coming up once you get started. That's how we found this sit. The owners were friends we had met through other friends on the island, and we'd actually already been in their house a couple of times for catered parties that they'd thrown during US Independence Day and New Year's. This house was so luxurious that honestly it probably could rent for like $4,000 a night if it was ever on Airbnb, but the owners are super kind and generous people who were just so excited to have us there to take care of their adorable pups, Winslow and Mia. They gave us a long list of things to do for the dogs, which mostly included how to feed them, medications and everything, but they only asked us to walk them once a day near their house. They left us with a new SUV again to drive while we were there, and they set us up in their guest unit, which was like a villa all in itself. This house is perched on a cliff and the infinity pool looks over the sea. There's always a perfect breeze running through the house and through the open kitchen. Actually, that's what made this sit so perfect for us at the time, because Doris and I had just decided that we wanted to start eating healthy, and we were talking about how amazing it would be to have a modern kitchen. Well, the kitchen in this house is like a professional kitchen that you'd find in the top Michelin star restaurants. The owners had every kitchen appliance and gadget that you could think of, and we'd cook healthy dinners while looking out at sunset over the Caribbean Sea. Winslow and Mia really took to us. Because we spent so much time in the house, they loved having us around. We would work at a table outside on the deck overlooking the ocean, and one of them would always be lying at our feet. So as promised at the start of this video, I want to let you in on the secret. How did we get all of these house sits? So every one of these house sits was found on the same website. We used the same site for years, and we ended up staying in beautiful accommodations with adorable pets all around the Caribbean and Costa Rica. Every one of our sits had a dog or two, but there are plenty of house sits on the platform that are just house sits with no pets, or are cat sits, or horse sits, or goat sits, or even owl sits. Seriously, one of our friends took care of an owl. Obviously, you can choose which animals you're comfortable with, and you can also add that preference into your profile. If you're interested in getting house sits like this, check the links below. We have a free resource that'll get you started in house sitting. It'll show you the best house sitting sites that you can sign up for depending on where you live and where you want to house sit. It also includes the exact steps that we use to set up our profile. If you don't set up your profile properly, you'll never get hired for house sits. And we also share some on-the-job hacks to make sure that the owners love you and they'll hire you back year after year. We give this all away for free, so check the links below and download the free resource. Over the years, we've saved tens of thousands of dollars on accommodation costs thanks to house sitting. Our sits have ranged from a few days to 6 months at a time, and we've made some amazing friends around the world, both furry and human, thanks to house sitting. It has literally changed our lives, and it's gave us the opportunity to stay in lovely homes for free while we were just starting out with our nomadic life. At that time, we had just started our blog, and we were freelance writing on the side to earn a living, and having free accommodation made it easy to support ourselves while living in luxurious accommodations all around the world. If you're interested in how we did any of that, or you have questions about house sitting, let me know in the comments down below. We love talking about this stuff, so leave a comment down below and we can help you get your first house sit and even create a remote income so that you can live anywhere in the world staying in beautiful houses for free while building your own remote business. All right, thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified next time we come out with a new video. We're creating house sitting, pet sitting, travel blogging, digital nomad, and remote work content like this every single week. So we'd love to have you guys along for the ride. All right, that's it from me. I'll see you on the next one. Later.